Jessica Houston.
Hello. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm currently a resident of District 8, but I'm here to voice my emphatic support of Commissioner Mahoney's resolution to declare racism a public health crisis. Racism is systemic and it's a problem in many of our institutions and it permeates everyday life. Black Americans have suffered generational trauma as a result. And I unfortunately do not have the privilege to ignore that. We have to do better and Jackson needs to do better. And we need to be at the forefront of this equity work. That's all. Thank you.
Delia Johnson.
Hello, my name is Delia Johnson. I'd like to speak on the subject of trauma. We've been talking about that lately with Hakeem Crampton. And I think there have been 400 years of trauma, at least for the African Americans, and that it is up to us to make changes in the system. I'm completely in agreement with Dan's proposal for making mental health a public health crisis.
Okay. Stacy Johnston.
Hi, this is Stacy Johnston. I come from Blackman Township. I'm a registered nurse, and I wanted to jump on here because I'm also in complete support of Commissioner Mahoney's resolution to make racism a public health crisis. As a registered nurse, I see this all the time. It's one of the first things you learn in nursing school is the racial disparities seen in healthcare, particularly for the African American community. It's seen in hypertension, diabetes, everything that's already pretty much been mentioned statistically speaking. So I'm going to speak to something a bit more personal that it's always particularly bothered me, but I have a friend, he doesn't live here anymore. He lives up in Grand Rapids. And he was upset about everything going on. He's an African American male, and one of the things he said to me really struck me. I'm afraid of dying of two things in my life: the coronavirus, because we know it disproportionately is affecting African American communities, which speaks to the racism that we see in healthcare, and police brutality. He's afraid to be pulled over by the police, and he won't. The stay at home has been lifted. He's locked himself in his house, and I couldn't think of anything to say to him to make him feel better because there was nothing that could be said. So the only thing I can think to do is to speak up for him, to try to be the best ally to him I can. And I would strongly urge you to support Commissioner Mahoney's resolution. And I yield my time. Thank you.
Kayla Kilgore.
Yes, my name is Keela Kilgore. I am a Hanover resident. I am in Jackson County. I also am a health coach at Henry Ford Allegiance Health with the Henry Ford Health System. I'm a certified teacher, former school counselor, and a licensed professional counselor. I want to just speak up in support of Daniel Mahoney's resolution. There is definite disparity, as the stats have already been read, but I will share with you as an individual in my own family. I try to deal with this just from the aspect of what I can do where I live, where I work, and where I play. And how I do that is through working with the cross-cultural conversations group that came out of part of our health improvement organization when there was the realization with all the disparities that were going on in our community, especially with Blacks. With this, I also am very much part of our non-abusive psychological and physical intervention trainings that we do at the hospital, with a lot of this focused on 3 things, and it's to make sure we have safety with the physical, the mental, emotional, and that we are not increasing trauma. I want to encourage you to make sure that we do have some diversity with the group as far as when a group is put together. So there are individuals from each of those areas that do deal with disparities, that do deal with that inequity. And I also highly encourage you, as I am part of the Cross-Cultural Conversation Council, where we are hosting a variety of conversations, not as the experts, but as those holding the space for the conversations. Please, we need to do something. I also have a daughter that goes to Jackson College, and to hear her have to share some of the discrepancies and the disparities and inequities and the discrimination that goes on when she goes with a Black friend, an athlete, even to the hospital, which I'm sad because that's where I work. And when I hear these things going on, it's sad. Please, let's continue to take the work and do something and further this. Thank you.
Lane Lewis.
Hi, I'm Lane Lewis, and I'm here to speak as a resident of District 7 and also as a representative of Aware Incorporated. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. So we are Jackson County service provider for survivors of domestic and sexual violence. In addition to the other public health realities outlined by Commissioner Mahoney's resolution, we bear witness to the disproportionate impact of domestic and sexual violence on communities of color. We ask that our county commissioners considering this resolution will keep in mind the following facts. According to the CDC, Black women are 4 times more likely than white women to be murdered by an intimate partner. 43% of Black women and 37% of Hispanic women experience domestic violence in their lifetime. According to a 2014 study, about 22% of Black women report having been raped, and 41% report having experienced other forms of sexual violence. And yet, women of color are less likely to report domestic and sexual violence, are less likely to be believed when they report, and are less likely to receive supportive services following an assault. This disproportionate impact cannot be explained by any one single factor, but it is connected to the systemic oppression and racism, which must be addressed at every level of our society. We believe that this acknowledgement of the effects of racism in our community as a public health crisis is a positive step in that direction, and we support our county commissioners in this resolution. Thank you.